Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode 17 of Tyria. Then we're going through prophecies, and we finished.
Woohoo!
We're all done with the prophecies campaign in Guild Wars. 20 years later, 19 years later.
Yes.
Yeah, we finished the campaign this week, and we also did a cheeky little bonus mission that kind of had some. Not that much extra information, but like kind of extra information, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A little bit of interesting stuff in the bonus mission that we'll kind of start the top of the discussion with. But yeah, we are done with prophecies. We have taken characters from level 1 in Pre-Searing Ascalon all the way through to the end of the game. We've leveled to max. We've met all the henchmen. We've met the gang. We've met a whole bunch of NPCs, many of which return in this episode, and I did not expect that.
Yeah. I was a bit surprised at some of the ones who made it.
Yeah, the game has a lot of returning NPCs, and the game actually, like, I can't wait to talk about the epilogue instance after the last, because it touches on a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about this whole time.
Yeah.
I think they did a really, 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 really good job with the game epilogue. But joining me as always is Miko. Welcome back.
Hello, everyone. Hi. Thank you for having me back. It's good to be back.
And basically what we've done this episode is we've done the bonus mission. We've done the Hell's Precipice mission. Banger mission name. Hell's Precipice.
Yes.
It's aptly named, I think. We've completed it. We've done the epilogue instance after. I mean, you don't really do anything. You just kind of like read through what you want to. And then we've kind of met up here to give our overall impressions of the content this episode and our overall impressions of the Prophecies campaign in general. So first, I think what we wanted to talk about was the Sol D'Alessio bonus mission from the bonus mission pack. I wanted to play this for last episode because it kind of ties in with Abaddon's Mouth, which is the last mission we did. But it would have kind of bloated the episode quite a bit. I don't know how many 2-hour extravaganzas we have room for in the Tyria then lexicon. So we decided to bump it to this episode since we only had one mission left to do. We'll see how tight we can keep the discussion this episode, because while we only did one mission, there's like a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
So how did you, first of all, Miko, catch us up on the plot of Guild Wars Prophecies up to this point?
So, in our last episode, we played through 2 missions down in the Ring of Fire. We played through Ring of Fire mission, and we played through Abaddon's Mouth. And basically what we found out in both of those is that we were being led by Vizier Kilbron, he of the guy who is the sole survivor from the Kingdom of Or, that Avenia tells us we can totally trust him. Spoiler alert, we totally cannot.
Avenia sucks at vetting allies. Changed my mind.
I know. And we find out that really he's been leading us along, playing us, and has us open up the door of Kamali. We lose Breknar Ironhammer.
Real deep cut loss.
Yeah. He sacrificed himself for the greater good. Another one, and he and some of his fellow dwarves kind of use themselves as bait in a similar but maybe better way than Cedra did, to lure the Mursat away so that we could kind of continue on and try to get to the door of Kamali. That I always want to say Kamali, and yeah, so we get to the door of Kamali, we open it up, and
it's not really a conventional door. Like it doesn't have a knob, right?
We have to unseal it basically, and it's being held in place by essentially soul batteries.
Soul batteries, yeah. I don't know how many times that word has come up in the game so far, but it's like kind of a big deal for the plot of the game. The door when we find it, it kind of looks like teeth. Like it looks like teeth with no lips.
Mm-hmm.
It's really weird looking. And the teeth are the soul batteries, and they're powering like it. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, and the souls are basically the souls of the chosen that have been slain on the bloodstone.
It's good stuff.
Yeah,
and
it's
by good stuff I mean horrific.
Horrific, yeah. And so really, Vizier Kilbron wanted us to unseal it for his own purposes, and we find out at the end of Abaddon's Mouth that lo and behold, Vizier Kilbron is a dirty double-crosser, and he's actually the undead lich who's been plotting this around from the very beginning, before we even walked into Kryta.
Yeah, and it's not even a good plot, because like it's hilarious that our character has fallen for it, because his entire grift is extremely vague, right?
Yeah.
Open the door and we'll get allies. What kind of allies? I don't know, but they will be allies.
Yeah.
Well, like he tells us nothing, and we just go all in on this plan.
Mm-hmm.
Our character isn't terribly bright in this regard.
No. But, there we go, and we unseal it. He reveals himself to be the big baddie of the entire campaign. So we are left at the end of Abaddon's Mouth, learning that we've been double-crossed yet again. And now we've got to make things right.
Yes, and we will be doing that in a little bit, but we ran into several Mursat in Abaddon's Mouth. We essentially ran into the Mursat leadership on our way up to the door of Komali. Side note, I don't know who Komali is or what Komali is or why the door is called the Door of Komali. Does the game ever tell us this?
The game does not.
It's just a cool sounding name.
It is a very cool sounding name.
Gotcha. Yeah, we ran into, guarding the entrance to the tunnel that takes you into the caldera is a Mursat called Optimus Caliph.
Yes.
He is a Mursat that shows up in the Sol d'Alessio bonus mission pack. And then before you get to him, at some point in the mission, I believe, you will fight Mercia the Smug.
Yes.
And she is another Mursat that is like part of the triumvirate leadership of the Mursat.
Yes.
And then there's a third Mursat that shows up that isn't in the Abaddon's Mouth mission. But he's probably the most prominent of all three of them. Yes. And so how do we... we've done one of these bonus missions before. When we do these, how do we start these?
We have to equip the weapon of the hero or legend whose story we're going to be replaying. And in order... that basically gives us the ability to fight as that person. Yeah,
and we talked to Dermond, the historian guy in Lion's Arch, and he gives us a little book and a staff with a wing on it. That is the staff of Sol d'Alessio. And then there's like a little bit of voice acting too. Dermond is like, this is his story, right?
Yes.
He's got like a deep, rich voice. Dermond, it's good stuff. Yeah. He doesn't actually say that much, but he voices some more of the cutscene at the end. And yeah, it drops us into basically after the searing. So at the beginning of Prophecies, when we were in pre-searing Ascalon, everything was nice and pretty, and then we mucked it up, and the Char blew up Ascalon essentially. They blew through Ascalon and they marched on Kryta. And that's where it kind of drops us into the game, is as Sol d'Alessio leading the White Mantle against the Char invasion of Kryta. Yeah. If you read what's in the book, it actually says like Sol d'Alessio was a total loser before he was found by the Mursat. We don't really get to play any of that though.
No.
It drops us in after Sol d'Alessio is like the full-fledged leader of the White Mantle, and he has like soldiers working for him. Did you see any names that we recognize in this mission?
Yes, we were running around with Justiciar Hablion.
Good old Habby. Yep.
Confessor Dorian, who I don't know that he was called Confessor at this point.
I think he's just Dorian. Yeah.
Yeah, and Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas. Who who's the guy whose brother got killed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thomas is also in the game way later in Eye of the North. So it's not the last we see of Thomas. And they're all like level 18, which indicates that they're like still haven't like achieved their maximum potential.
Correct.
And then there's like a dude named Byron. There's a lady named Rebecca.
Yeah.
And then there's a dude named like Genghis or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, Jinsinger.
Jinsinger.
Yeah, it's a very strange name.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. It's probably one of the last names of an alpha tester or something.
Yeah.
Like that weird dwarf.
Right, and then there's somebody named James. Did we talk about James?
Jaems, if I remember correctly.
Jaemes.
Yes, 2 E's, yeah.
Yes.
Jaemes.
Yes, and Jaemes is a mesmer. Well, that's like, Hey.
And I don't think he has a single line of dialogue. He's just James.
I don't think, yeah.
He's just there to give you an extra body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's not a lot to this mission. When you started it, because the mission opens up and we're with this group of like 6 or 7 White Mantle henchmen, and we basically say, hey, we have to sneak into the Char camp and get to where the leaders are and kind of cut off the head of the snake.
Pretty much.
And there's a scene where we can wait for the White Mantle soldiers to say goodbye to their families in like this little Crichton village.
Yeah.
And I missed a lot of the dialogue here, but one of the kids is like, "Bring back a Char skin, Dad." And I'm like, that's grisly. Yeah. That kid's like 11.
I know.
Yikes.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the wife is telling him, I'd rather have my husband alive than a dead hero. And it's kind of poignant.
Yeah, and because they're a very small force going out to essentially try to eradicate an entire army of Char, and they really do mean an army of Char. There's hundreds of Char on this map. Mm-hmm. They come in bundles of like 15, and they're everywhere. Yeah. What you have to do to get to the mission objective is follow the moving patrols while staying out of their aggro range. Were you able to wend your way through without aggroing anyone?
Oh, God, no. I mean, I had to run this mission over and over again because I kept aggroing, or at first I thought I would try to get some of the bonus objectives. Yeah, I gave up on that plan pretty quick.
Can you do the bonus objectives on your first try, or do you have to do... So, I think you have to do repeat plays.
I think you have to do repeat plays, but, I tried anyway. Just to see, like, what would this be like? It'd be a bad time. That's what it was for good old Miko here. So I said, well, this bonus objectives on this one might never happen, and that's okay. I can live with that.
Well, that's the experience that I had with Hell's Precipice, so it's my turn next, so don't worry. I did aggro one group, but you can fight like one group without the Char being alerted, but you can't fight 2.
Yeah.
So I just started like looking at the mini map and seeing which red dots like would move out of the way, and then I just follow them, and that will take you to the Char leaders essentially.
Yes.
Killing the Char leaders is pretty easy.
Killing the Char leaders is pretty easy. I liked the what was your experience of getting out of the little village? Like getting rid of the little Char army that, tries to overtake the village. Because that's
So what, you mean the village that we leave from at the beginning?
Oh, yes.
Oh, I didn't even know that village gets attacked. Do they get wiped out?
Yeah. What do you mean you don't know that? How did you not, like, Dorian tells you that
you start in the village. Oh yeah, there is a fight at the very beginning. I completely forgot that there's a fight at the very beginning. Yeah, that wasn't too bad.
I think so long as you get your skill rotation down quick and your heal skills so that you can sustain, then it was all right. But I tended to, if I didn't hit things right or didn't position myself well, I would get damaged by the AoE firecasters.
You got to get out of that AoE ASAP.
Yeah, it was just terrible. So
yeah, as long as you so Saul has a specialized skill bar, which everybody does in the bonus missions, and you get a signet called Signet of the Unseen. And it's an AoE, like 80 damage knockdown. It's a disgusting skill. It's definitely one you want to prioritize.
Yep.
Because it just shits on everything.
Yes.
And then you want to prioritize that Mesmer skill he has, which makes signets recharge faster. Because then you could just keep pounding out that signet of the unseen. And then as long as you stay like using your signets, you should have enough energy to be able to pop your heal skill when you need it. Yeah. I was using the form up and advance skill a lot.
So was I.
Because I like moving fast.
Yeah.
And it's also a great way if Thomas and Hableon are overextending, you can just hit it and they'll come back.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good skill. I didn't have too much trouble with any of the fights. I did have people dying later on, but they seem to resurrect like every few minutes.
Yeah.
So this has kind of got the like Guild Wars 2 like soft immunity thing going on a little bit.
And I liked using the form up and advance, the speed boost skill to blow past the char mobs if I didn't want to engage them, but I did want to try to run past them. So that was good.
Yeah, there is a path to get through to the char leaders without aggroing anything, but I did end up running into one group because I like stopped to look at the wiki and then a patrol like crashed into me.
Yeah.
The stopping to look at the wiki has been the death of many a valiant Tyrian.
Yes.
But yeah, that fight at the beginning wasn't too bad. It kind of gives you an idea. The char like level 16 in this mission. It's not like a super maxed out level mission. There's a few enemies that are like level 28. The levels are kind of all over the place.
Yeah, they really are.
And this is, you can definitely see that this was a post Eye of the North release because they've got some of the char types and enemies from Eye of the North in this mission. And they're pretty wild. But yeah, after we there's 3 char leaders and one of them is real big, like physically he's gargantuan. Yes. And I think he's one of the level 28 enemies. I think his name is Rox, actually.
Yeah.
Which is funny.
I thought it was funny, too, that his name was Rox.
Yeah, so not the only char Rox that we're going to encounter in the Guild Wars franchise. There is, of course, a Guild Wars 2 character named Rox, who is a char. Yes. But this guy is just a dude that you kill. Yeah. And then he's got like 2 homies with him. I don't remember what their names were, but they're like level 20 and they die pretty easily. I killed them first, and then I killed him last.
Yeah.
And then,
and then they don't have a monk with them, so they're killing them is not that difficult.
Yeah, no, it's pretty chill. And then the Mursat pop up.
Yeah.
Because basically, by killing the leaders, we've essentially blown our cover, and now the entire Char army is descending upon like the 8 of us. And so Saul, being us, Saul is like, we have to pray to our gods here, right? It's like, do or die. And the Mursat actually appear to Saul. Now, they're known as the Unseen Ones up to this point, right?
Yeah.
And they basically say to Saul, you have been deemed worthy of looking upon us, and we're going to give you this sweet spectral agony skill that we have.
Yeah.
So we're basically, and I believe in the context of this mission, we Saul are the only ones who can actually see the 3 Mursat. I don't think any of the other people are supposed to be able to see them. Is that true, or does everyone see them?
I think that they all see them, but what I found it interesting that Optimus Caliph tells Saul that what us coming to your aid comes at a price. So and only the true worthy, he says, only the true worthy may see the unseen and live to tell the tale.
Yeah.
But what made me think that the others could see them was that after that cutscene, there's some dialogue that's not captured on the wiki, but like Dorian and I forget which of the others are like, "What have you done to us?"
Yeah, and they do, based on what happens at the end cutscene of this mission. I guess you're right. I think everybody can see them based on what they say there. Like, yeah. So I think you're right. I think everybody can see them, and they're pretty badass. It's actually really cool, like watching 3 level 28 Mursat just like wipe the floor with hordes of Char. It's very fun.
Yeah.
Because the next part has like Thunderhead Keep vibes, except it's paced much better.
Yeah.
You just defend against waves of char, and there's like a lot of them, but they're all like level 12 to 16.
Yeah. And Spectral Agony makes it a joke to deal with them.
Yeah, I wish the Spectral Agony was AoE.
Mm-hmm.
Would I, because it's a single target thing, but it has a very fast recharge and a very low energy cost at 5 energy. Mm-hmm. So I was just using it to take out like the most important enemies. Like if they had a boss or one of those big char war machine things. Mm-hmm. Or a healer or a fire elementalist.
Yes.
Spectral Agony is it's like a weaker version of the Mersat one that you get. So you get one that does like -4 health degeneration and 80 damage a second, which is still like really good. Mm-hmm. And you can just spam that quite a bit. And then Signet of the Unseen is obviously just absurdly powerful as well. Mm-hmm. So you kind of just chew your way through these char. There's all sorts of like new char types. They're not the ones from Prophecies. They're the ones from Eye of the North. There's Soot Rainers and Ash Thieves, and all sorts of like new char names like that. Mm-hmm. It's good stuff. It's kind of just fun to just lay waste to hordes of char for a little bit.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I found the White Mantle guys were dying, but they would get resurrected. I don't know who's resurrecting them or if they just auto-res.
I think they auto-res.
Yeah. And I think the idea there is the unseen ones, the Mersat, resurrect them periodically. Mm-hmm. Which would make sense because they're supposed to be very powerful spellcasters.
Yeah.
And once I think there was a boss in here named Twang Sootpaws, which I thought was amusing. Because he's a ranger boss and he's named Twang, like a bowstring.
I mean, yes. It's a very fitting name.
Yes. So Twang Sootpaws, very, very good stuff. I killed him, though.
Yeah.
And after we defeat the char, Sol D'Alessio goes, "That's all of them. That's all, folks." Mm-hmm. And then the Mersat kill everybody.
Yeah.
Because like Miko mentioned, they say that there's a terrible price for looking upon them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they killed them all. And what they did was they took Saul prisoner. And it says that he was never seen alive again. But survivors, so Dorian and co, they spread the legend of Sol D'Alessio, and he was remembered thereafter as a champion of Kryta. Mm-hmm. But Saul just disappeared, and we don't know what happened to him until much later in Tyria's future.
Yeah, until way later. And it shows Dorian, Hablion, and Thomas are the three survivors. It doesn't, because you've got a few other named people in your party. It doesn't show any of them as survivors. So I think the idea is just Dorian, Hablion, and Thomas survive.
Yeah. Yeah, and you see that Hablion and Thomas basically kneel to Dorian,
making him the de facto leader of the White Mantle. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And now I wonder if he invented the Confessor rank, or if Sol D'Alessio was Confessor Saul, like Confessor Saul.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure. But yeah, the cutscene doesn't do a great job of communicating this, but I think the idea is supposed to be that Saul disagrees with, like, he loses faith in the Mersat at that point when he sees they murder all the White Mantle.
Yes.
And the cutscene kind of says like he's devastated, but it doesn't really communicate well that like he breaks with the Mersat at that point, and that's what causes them to abduct him.
No, yeah, that really doesn't get revealed until much later in the franchise's story. He basically, while you're leaving the village and basically starting the patrol route to get to the Char, he names Dorian, Hablion, and Thomas as his trusted followers, and basically charges them to carry on and leading Kryta if anything should happen to him. So that's basically why at the end you only get those three.
Yeah, and the three Mursat that show up on in this mission are Optimus, Caliph, Mercia the Smug, both of whom we meet in Abaddon's Mouth, and the third Mursat named Lazarus the Dire, right? Which is a very cool name.
It is.
And we do not meet him in the Prophecies campaign. I don't think they came up with him until later.
Yeah.
But he's supposed to be part of this triumvirate that leads the Mursat, and this is not the last we see of Lazarus. So no. Lazarus actually, he'll come in later. So not all the, because the idea with us opening the door of Komali in the Prophecies campaign is that the Titans come out and they wipe out the Mursat, right?
Right.
But they don't completely wipe out the Mursat.
Right.
So we'll see the Mursat again down the line, and based on recent Guild Wars 2 releases, we'll see the Titans again down the line too.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, I thought it would be a good idea to play that mission there, just since it ties in with the Mursat that we meet and kind of the end of the beginning of the White Mantle after we've brought about the end of the White Mantle.
Yeah.
The end of the White Mantle for now, rather.
Yeah, I found it really interesting that Derman's part of his narration, when you open up his Saul's book, will tell you what could they do when they were trying to defend their homeland. Mm-hmm. Because it gives them sort of like it's not like, I think Dermot is basically trying to create a sense of compassion by telling you that as the player.
Yeah,
like, you know, you've got this group, they're trying to defend their homeland. What could they do? But
what choice did they have?
Right. Yeah. What choice did they have to try any means necessary?
Well, and then
basically up against the Char.
Yeah, and it also lends some insight into Saul versus Dorian. You know, Saul made a choice to not toe the line, and Dorian made a choice to toe the line.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the difference comes in there, where Dorian ends up leading the White Mantle, and Saul ends up being disappeared by the literal shadow government.
Yeah. I kind of found Dorian's expression at the very end when they see that the Mursat have annihilated their compatriots. He looks like he's about ready to crap his pants.
Yeah, they actually did some like crude facial animation.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, which is very like they almost never do facial animations in Guild Wars, so it was kind of interesting to them like stretching the animation budget a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and considering that to this point, before playing the bonus mission, Dorian just looks unhappy. He's got that really, really deep frown. He's
got a cartoonish, like 180-degree frown.
Yeah.
At all times.
And so here he is, and you know, he with his frowny face, he looks like he's just an unhappy dude, ready to like just stomp on you. But here, he just looks scared out of his mind.
Yeah, which kind of helps you understand why he decides to toe the line and bend the knee rather than like you see someone get disappeared, right? And it's almost worse than death, right? You're like, I don't know what happened to that man.
Yeah.
So yeah, they basically form what the leadership of the White Mantle that we come into Kryta experiencing in Prophecies. So it's kind of a good little prequel mission for the Prophecies campaign, but I think it's best experienced after you've got a little context by playing the game.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a good little capstone on the whole Mursat White Mantle saga, because the last mission of Prophecies, we're no longer dealing with the White Mantle or the Mursat.
Nope. No, now we're basically dealing with Titans and the Lich.
Yes, it's Titans, it's the Lich. And how did you find, where do I even begin? We've got a podium guy,
again, not on a podium.
Not on a podium, yeah.
This is another thing that we found out last mission, that the podium people lost their soapboxes for the Ring of Fire missions.
Yes, and also up to this point, like up to the kind of the Shiver Peaks, at some point we lost our way with the podium people. Because the podium person, I think a lot of times used to be like someone of note, someone like vaguely related to the story. And then now it just is like random people.
Yeah.
Like the podium guy this is the final mission in the whole game, right? Like everything is culminated up to this point, and the podium guy's name is Jacob.
Jacob Salinger.
Yeah, just
and I was like, they straight up did a little nod to J.D. Salinger. Okay, that's really cool. And also, he's a dead Crichton. He's one of these chosen who was sacrificed.
Right, and he is a sacrifice chosen. I just think it's funny that there's just a guy named Jacob that is the podium guy for the final mission.
Yeah.
And he's got he doesn't have a whole ton to say. He just gives us a little bit more background on the Vizier, most of which we already know. Did you find that Mr. Salinger had anything interesting to say?
He does tell us that, in case we weren't paying attention, we did a bad thing in opening the door for the Lich. And he tells us that, again, what we already know about Vizier Kilbron, that he was the last guy standing in the Kingdom of War, and that whatever he did in order to thwart the Char basically sunk the kingdom.
Yeah, I think he refers to it as just like an explosion.
An explosion, yeah.
Yeah.
And sank ore into the sea and transformed the Vizier from a living being of flesh and bone into an undying lich made of ichor and decay.
Yeah, I guess Vizier Kilbron more or less just set off like a magical nuclear bomb.
Pretty much.
He says he wandered down into the catacombs and read a forbidden scroll. And he also mentions that the spirit guardians, like the little level 10 guys that were attacking us last mission in Abaddon's Mouth, are like spirits of the chosen that have gone mad, essentially.
Yeah.
And that some of the spirits went crazy, but not all of them. And he's one of the like sane ones that's left. He kind of ends the conversation with, and I quote, we ask him, "What must I do?" And he responds with, "You must catch that lich." Which is it's just like a weird, bizarre thing for him to be.
I know.
You gotta catch that lich. It's such a weird, such a weird bit of dialogue. But yeah, he tells us to catch that lich. So that's what we're off to do. This outpost is in the volcano caldera, on the Bloodstone with the Door of Komali, just like there. That's where the mission outpost is.
Yes.
It's also where it's where the mission ends. It's bizarre. Both these missions, Abaddon's Mouth and Hell's Precipice, end in this volcano caldera on the Bloodstone. And the mission outpost is also in the caldera on the Bloodstone. It's kind of it's a very repeated location. But it looks cool, right? They're getting their art design money's worth out of it.
For sure.
The sound design is really cool in this outpost. You can hear like rumbling and crackling in the background. It's very ominous. You can hear like the howling of the wind or the spirits that are shooting out of the Door of Komali. You can see like the spirit. It's cool. It's a cool outpost. And Jacob's just hanging out there for us.
He is.
So now that we have the directive to catch that lich, how'd you go about doing this? How good or bad of a time did you have?
I think I did this in one.
I had to do this like 6 times.
Well, I went in, and before I started, I was like, okay, Titans, they're going to have lots of fire skills. So I did a little preparation, and that helped. I did not take Sin, and I took skills that gave me some cold damage, either conversion or actual cold damage, to help kill the many, many fire-wielding enemies that we've got to fight in this mission. And that just really made it an easier time.
Yeah, I tried this like 3 or 4 times without taking like making any changes to my comp. And it just wasn't working. I got stuck at one spot. So you start this mission, and you fight your way through to where there's kind of a crossroads area, like kind of a convergence, and there's a bunch of patrolling mobs that all come through this little choke point. And there's a lot of these little imp guys. We'll talk about the different Titan types in a second. But basically, every enemy in this mission is easy except for these little imp guys. These guys will make or break whether you are successful at this mission. And there was just a group of them that I could not get past. So I finally, I believe you took the Winter Spirit, right?
I did, yes.
Yeah, Winter is a ranger skill. It's a nature ritual. It summons a Spirit of Winter that converts all elemental damage for everyone, so good guys and bad guys, into cold damage.
Yep.
This allows Sin to be useful in the mission, because it will convert all her fire damage into cold damage, which all of the Titans are exceptionally weak to cold damage. They all have ludicrously high armor rating against fire damage. So I started taking Winter, and I had a bit of a better time. Titans, what are they?
So Titans are basically manifestations of molten lava. And they walk around.
Yeah, they were trapped behind the door of Komali because they're real bad, and the Mursat basically foresaw their doom at the hands of the Titans, so they did everything they could to prevent that from happening. They didn't prevent it, so now the Titans have been loosed upon the world by Vizier Kelbron. Jacob tells us that the reason he's able to control the Titans is the Scepter of Ore. So the Scepter allows him to control more than just undead. Either that, or like the Titans are undead? Question mark. Like he's raising them from like the spirit realm, making them undead. I don't know. But the Scepter of Ore can control them, so that's how he's doing this. And they start out as burning Titans. Yes. Which are the big crab looking dudes. I don't know how to describe them. Yeah. Fiery crab men. Fire crabs. Yeah, more or less. And you kill one of these, and they break down into risen ashen hulks. Yes. Which are just like gray, knobby gray guys.
Yeah, and they use necromancer skills.
They're necromancers. They're not very dangerous, but they're annoying because they have a skill called Shadow of Fear, which makes me attack really slow. And I don't like that. No. They're very easy to kill, though. But when you kill these, they then spawn a hand and a fist of the Titans. Yes. These guys are warriors. They look like stone elementals, but they've got kind of a fiery core, I guess. They just shred you with axe and sword skills. They're not super dangerous, but they're annoying, and you don't want to kill. Basically, you have to have a kill order. Because if you kill too many hulks, you'll have just shitloads of hands and fists mobbing you. The way I prioritized them was kill the burning Titans, because that'll turn into a risen hulk and they're a lot less dangerous. And then kill the hulks and then the fists and the hands that they spawn one at a time. That doesn't always work because there's a lot of AoE damage flying out. Yes. And you'll find that the hulks just die by proxy most of the time. But none of the Titans are particularly difficult, I don't think, except the sparks of the Titans.
Yeah, the little imps. They get a whole brand new name.
Yep. Yeah. How did you find these guys?
Well, because I had the cold damage skills, it was a lot easier than I think I have experienced in the past. I don't know what my strategy was in the past, but I remember the sparks being a lot more dangerous. But this time I went in prepared, and things went a little better.
Yeah, I died. I fed to these. There's a particular group of them, so I was trying to do the bonus. And when you reach that crossroads, you got to go behind. And there's a group of 3 sparks and 2 risen ashen hulks, and they're like kind of over a hill. And they're just far enough over the hill to where when you engage them, everyone's going to have line of sight issues.
Mm-hmm.
And the sparks are smart enough to come up to the top of the hill so they can hit your henchmen, and your henchmen are not smart enough to like push that attack back. So what ends up happening is the henchmen blow their skills on line of sight and they get blocked. Whereas and then the sparks come over and they just delete my group for free.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So yeah, when I finally managed to do it, I kind of got lucky and they spawned much further away from the hill, so I could come all the way over and have like a normal engagement. But yeah, kind of like that group was just bizarrely difficult just because of the positioning. Yeah. But yeah, Sparks of the Titans, not fun. The main reason I took Winter was because it allows Sin to actually do damage to these guys. Mm-hmm. It doesn't really change the damage they do to me because like I don't have extra elemental resistance, whether it's fire or cold, it does the same. Mm-hmm. But it allows Sin to actually get some work done. Because my other option was to drop Sin and bring Little Thom, and I just didn't think that would be very high value.
Yeah, I ended up dropping Sin and bringing Aiden.
Yeah, Aiden has one burning skill, but the rest of his skills are just like bow damage, which is good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't want to mess with Sin potentially being either my winter running out or
your winter getting killed. That was what I kept dealing with, was my winter getting killed, and then Sin is kind of dead weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I struggled with this mission, but once on the run that I finally managed to get past that group, I did finish the mission, and I was able to get the bonus. So the bonus on this mission, our friend the Ancient Seer is back. I think the Ancient Seer is every bonus on the Ring of Fire.
I believe that is correct.
Yeah.
Except for, because in the previous one, the Ancient Seer is there, but it's not the bonus. The bonus is to save...
Leah. Yeah. That was a good bonus. I like that.
It was a good bonus, yeah.
This bonus is not very interesting. You have to save the Seer. She's getting attacked by a Burning Titan. It doesn't start attacking her till you get very close, but it does a lot of damage. If you look at my footage, I may or may not be proactive enough to put the footage on the screen right here. I may be too lazy to find it. But the Titan just didn't attack the Seer on my playthrough.
Oh man, they on mine they took the Seer out before I could even get in their aggro range.
Wow, it's not supposed to do that. It's supposed to wait until you're close.
I was literally about to turn the corner, and the Seer just they nuked him, and I was like, well, never mind then. I'll continue on.
I wonder if the Spark of the Titan group like got too close. That's wild. But yeah, I ran up to this Burning Titan that's attacking the Seer, and it did not attack the Seer at all. It just like stood and faced the wall and did nothing. So I kind of got lucky there. So yeah, I was able to complete the bonus that way. The Seer basically just wants you to kill 3 Armageddon Lords. Mm-hmm. Which they have the same skin as the Burning Titans. I think they're a little bigger physically, but they're the same model. But they're fire elementalists. They have like Lava Font and Flame Burst. Just like close range AoE burst fire elementalists. They're not nearly as scary as the Sparks of the Titans.
Yeah, no, they weren't that bad. I mean, I think I've done this bonus in the past. I remember it not being a big deal, but yeah.
If you're running it with like heroes with sweet builds,
it was.
It's pretty
I think
easy
it was
mission.
either. Yeah, I think I was actually playing with other players who had heroes because I didn't get heroes until much later. So it must have been that's what happened.
Yeah, did you kill... So, one thing I did on this mission was I brought a Signet of Capture, because there's a warrior skill that I wanted to have unlocked on my account, and I forgot to capture it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so, nice job, Aaron. The mission path isn't particularly complicated. It's pretty straightforward. Mm-hmm. It's not a very long path either. This is a long mission because each individual fight takes a long time, because there's, like... each monster spawns another monster, which then spawns 2 more monsters. Like it's a very attritive experience, which is what made it so frustrating for me having to restart it so many times. I was very annoyed with it this morning.
Yeah.
I played this stuff today because I didn't really have time otherwise last week. But yeah, the mission, the primary like time sink in the mission is just how long each fight takes, and it is imperative that you pull groups and only engage one group at a time.
Yeah. When you got to the portals, because basically after if you can complete the bonus, then great. If not, you have to go around then and take out portals that are basically, they look like spheres with projections of the different cities that Kilbron had sent off the Titans to at the end of the previous mission.
Yeah, and
Rin and what was the other one?
Lion's Arch.
Yeah, so you just have to get through each portal is protected by a group of the Titan conglomerate, and then
yeah, the Titan LLC is protecting the portals. It's like in a big field. It's kind of on the shore of like the volcano ocean. It's very picturesque.
Yes.
And each group of portal wraiths is guarding like a JPEG that is supposed to be the portal. It's like, it's a little corny looking, but it's also kind of cool looking at the same time.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, bless them. It was 2005.
It was, yeah.
And there's like roving bands of Titans, like Vagabond style, like Mad Max,
pretty much,
just going back and forth. And you kind of gotta. Did you pull these guys or did you just charge in?
No, God, no. We're not with henchmen. I mean, I went in and flagged my henchmen, and I just kind of worked them from left group to the middle, then to the rightmost group, and I was pretty methodical.
That was what I did as well.
Trying to keep the numbers of what I'd have to be fighting kind of manageable, and then take out the wraiths one little projection at a time.
Yeah, I did the same. There's bosses scattered throughout this mission too. Titan bosses, they come in every profession.
Yes.
And it's kind of like a fiesta of elite skills that the game hasn't given you a chance to capture yet, that the devs are like, oh shit, people need to be able to get these.
Right.
And they just drop them all in. And then like I said, I brought a signet to capture one of them, and I promptly forgot to. Right. All the boss names are just like Latin gibberish.
Yeah, there were a couple that I quite liked because they made me giggle. Because the Titan warrior boss was Tortitudo Probo. Yeah,
the one I saw the most of, because I ran this several times and he spawned every time I ran this somewhere, was Mago Liebens, I think is his name,
yes.
the necromancer. And then everyone's like some sort of a Latin like Testudo Pubo or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I got what was his name? Tortilla. I don't know
Tortitudo Probo, your warrior guy.
Yeah, I got him. He's actually he actually has an axe elite skill. And I was actually after 100 Blades, the sword skill, which is capturable from a certain story boss that precludes the fight with the Lich.
Right.
But yeah, I kind of just pulled very carefully throughout this field. Throughout the whole mission, I had to like devise ways of engaging Inferno imps. The whole thinking your way through this mission is devising how you are going to engage each group of Inferno imps. My strategy that seemed to work was popping Endure Pain on my warrior and running in way ahead of my group and eating the initial spike and then flagging them in. Fortunately, there was only, for me anyway, there was only one spark in this whole field of enemies.
Yeah, that was really kind of the devs.
Yeah, it was. Because this would be, basically, if you can get past the first half of the mission, you're in the clear. Yeah. Because that's where all the sparks of the Titans are. After this part, there's 2 more, and that's it. If they really wanted to make the boss fight hard in this mission, they should have had him pull up Spark of the Titans. That would have been a nightmare.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, the portals are each guarded by 3 portal wraiths. They're the Smoke Phantom model. They're level 24. They're not too bad. They do like 100 damage with chain lightning, but then they have like no other skills.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I think they have eruption. That kind of sucked for me being a
Mm-hmm.
warrior, but I was in no danger of dying.
Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting that the when you kill the Armageddon Lords for the bonus, they're like in these little lava pools at the top of this beach, and they're spawning hands and fists of the Titans like out of the lava pools.
Oh, nice.
And the hands and fists that spawn out of the lava pools are level 24, whereas the ones that spawn from a dead Ashen Hulk are level 28. Just some fun little trivia for the different the different level scales of hands and fists of the Titans.
Yeah, that's a bit mean.
Yeah, and after you killed the Armageddon Lords, did a bunch of Titan bosses then spawn out of the lava as well?
I didn't have to kill the Armageddon Lords because the Ancient Seer died.
Oh, did you not? Do they not spawn if the Seer dies?
I didn't actually go down the path. Once I saw that the Seer died, I was like, I ain't going down there.
Oh, okay, so they only spawn if you get the Seer. Okay, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but after you kill these guys, a bunch of Titan bosses spawn, and none of them had any skills I needed, so it was just a pointless attrition.
Right.
But yeah, I would say pulling and eliminating mobs in this big field before the portals takes like 20 minutes probably.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can kind of just blow through the portal wraiths and destroy the portals. They're not that hard. Yeah. And then there's a cutscene.
There is a cutscene.
And we also, throughout this mission, Vizier Kilbraun has been doing his trademark move of just like popping up and chit-chatting to us. Every so often.
he likes to troll us and is like, you can't catch me, basically, because Jacob told us go catch the Lich, and he's basically telling us you can't catch me.
Catch that Lich, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have in my notes that the Lich pops in and tells us corny villain shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's basically... I think he says adieu at some point. I was
I think that's
God.
right. I was like, wow.
Yeah, it's like Disney villain corny.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, once we destroy the portals, there's a cutscene, and the Lich basically tells us that us destroying his entire plan is only a minor annoyance, and that we're just delaying the inevitable.
Right.
It shows our character.
Yeah, I was gonna say that would be like the perfect like troll his villain mustache.
Yeah, it's a super. All his dialogue in this is incredibly cliche.
Yeah.
He's he's always laughing menacingly. Like
yes.
Anytime he says anything, it's precluded by a cartoonishly evil laugh.
Yeah. He really just needs to say "mwah ha ha ha."
Really, yeah. They kind of dialed the cornball up to 11 on this mission. So our character kind of waves our group through like those guys on a airport runway with the lights.
Yes.
We kind of do one of those as our group moves on.
Yeah. He basically is like, well, I'll see you guys later. In the meantime, you can deal with one of your friends.
Yeah, he says that he's got somebody that we're gonna need to have a chat with, and he leaves us to get quote reacquainted. And the Lich teleports back to the Bloodstone and starts summoning Titans. And meanwhile, his that little warrior boss guy that we saw, kind of trailing him, holding his hand like a toddler in the mall with their dad. Yeah. At the end of Thunderhead Keep, steps out from behind the Lich, and it is Prince Rurik.
Undead Prince Rurik. And I went, but I saw Dagnar Stonepate drop off his head off screen.
I'd like to think that the Lich did have to physically sew this man's head back on.
I know.
And his head is all like grotesque. It's like a zombie head.
It is a zombie head. He's got no hair. He's got no
helmet.
No helmet. He's basically just a skull with maybe some skin.
Like gray skin stretched over it, yeah. And Rurik says, "Forgive me, it's not my will to fight you, but I have no choice."
Yeah.
So he's like in control of his mind, but not his physical body. Yeah, he's kind of like being puppeted.
Yeah, it's kind of like what was her name who sent us off to go and take on the lady with the corncob pipe?
Yes, Vanyi was her name.
Thank you. Yes, Vanyi, who was essentially being puppet controlled
by Frosty the Snow Witch.
Right, Sanyi, I think that was her name. Yeah, so here we've got a repeat of that kind of idea.
Yeah, that seems to be
controlled by the Lich and the power of the Scepter of War.
Yes, because he's undead now, so the Lich can control him as he sees fit. But his brain seems to have fully survived the undeadification, like the dying and reanimation process, because he still like thinks independently, like a rational human being. It's bizarre and not fully explained, but this fight can be hard if you don't aggro things correctly.
Right.
Because the cutscene ends and you're immediately aggroed by like 8 Fists of the Titans. And it's like actually kind of a close call, because if they're all in melee range with you and they're hitting your casters and 100 Blades is going off and stuff, they can take your group down if you're not careful.
Yeah.
Luckily, Devona and I have mass knockdown because we both have Earthshaker, and that kind of cleaned it up. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and Rurik is up kind of not on a plinth as much, but he's up on a little hillock. It's not even a cliff.
Yeah, it's a dais.
Maybe.
A rise. He's on a rise.
He's on a rise. There you go. So he's basically up there. He never comes down. So the hands and fists are who you have to get through first.
Yeah, there's three different sets of mobs here that you have to deal with. There's two large groups of hands and fists, and then there is Rurik with 2 Sparks of the Titans. Yeah. And due to the height elevation, it can actually be a really big problem dealing with the sparks.
Yeah. Did you stay below to try to deal with them, or did you go up?
I tried to pull them down, and they wouldn't come. They would get halfway down the hill and then go back. So I pulled them around the corner to where they're at least visible on the path, and then I charged in and killed them.
Nice. Yeah, I just went up onto the hillock and tried to take them both out while also dealing with Rurik.
Yeah, Rurik's not too hard. He's kind of tanky, but he's not dangerous. Like he's just one guy at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, yeah, he's just that one guy. He's got 100 Blades, which is a cool skill.
Yes. And I neglected to capture it from him.
Yeah, you're gonna have to rerun the mission until at least that point.
I don't know if I'm gonna be doing that. That's the thing. But I did look on the wiki about 100 Blades, and fun fact, in the beta version of the game, up until the point of release, it actually was not an elite skill. They made it elite with the release of the game, and that's why warriors have one more core elite skill than everybody else does. Because it was a last-minute decision to make 100 Blades elite.
That's a good bit of trivia there.
Yeah, mildly interesting. But we get a cutscene after defeating Rurik.
Yes. And Rurik basically is laying on the ground, panting, and tells you that all is not lost. There's still a way to get rid of the Lich, seal the door, and the answer to that is to kill the Lich on the Bloodstone. That will repower the soul batteries and reclose the door of Kamali.
Basically, hit him with your hammer as hard as you can.
Pretty much. So he basically tells us how to win. And then he says, release me from the Lich's control. And your character says, as you wish, my prince. And promptly takes him out. Like, there wasn't even, like, a pause.
Yeah, you do an attack animation in the cutscene, and it like does a whump sound, and the idea being that I just like smashed Rurik's face in with my hammer. Did you do like a bow attack?
I did a bow attack, and didn't even like pause to think maybe I'm sorry. It was just like, as you wish, boom, you're gone.
Yeah, there's no, because usually the conversation is like, I can save you. No, you can do nothing for me. Right, like, there was none of that. We were just like, okay.
Yeah, but even the beat of, like, just taking a breath, it was just not even there.
Yeah.
No beat, no nothing, just like, sure thing.
Very abrupt. Very abrupt.
Very, very abrupt. Mm-hmm.
And then we give him a little benediction. We say, well, we can't wait to meet him again in the Hall of Heroes.
Right. Right.
And then
I find it funny how they interchange Hall of Heroes and the Mists.
Yeah, the idea is the Hall of Heroes is somewhere in the Mists. Everyone goes to the Mists, and not everybody goes to the Hall of Heroes, right? All toads are frogs, not all frogs are toads.
Right.
That's sort of horseshit. Yeah, they definitely didn't have the lore like super locked down when they made this first game like they do now. Now we know the Mists are kind of just like it's more or less just space. Like it's kind of a term to just refer to space.
Yeah.
Like it or it might as well be, I think is a better way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the aether, right?
Yes.
But we can actually go to the Hall of Heroes in Guild Wars. You can go to the PvP version which is like the highest end PvP in the game. And there's a PvE version as well that you can get to with the Tomb of the Primeval Kings over in Alona that we didn't do, but we might try on a bonus.
Yeah.
So yeah, we wish Rurik the best and hope that we will see him in the Hall of Heroes. Mm-hmm. And then the only thing left to do is to go get the Lich. Go catch that Lich.
Yes, we have to go catch him. And how easy was it to catch him?
I mean, I just ran over there, and here's the thing. In the past, when I've done this mission before, I always thought he was, like, waiting for you standing on the Bloodstone. Mm-mm. But he wasn't. He is, like, at the other end of the hallway, and he walks slowly towards you while you wait for him on the Bloodstone. And
in my playthrough, his AI kind of bugged out. He started teleporting away into the lava.
He does this because he does this for me too. I think this is a thing he does. I think it's just supposed to be really annoying.
Well, because then he just kind of strolls back over to the Bloodstone, but he didn't attack while he was strolling.
Yeah, this is a bizarre bit of game design because he teleports into the lava, and he can teleport party members too, but he doesn't do that nearly as often as teleporting himself.
Right.
So the way you get your party to not chase him is to simply flag your party to stay on the Bloodstone. Mm-hmm. And he teleports in the lava, and then he just leisurely walks back, and it takes a while. Attacking. Yeah, because he teleports very far away. Mm-hmm. And
you can still damage him.
You can, if you like, your ranged people can just damage him for free. I didn't have as good a time with this because I was melee, but it just wastes your time, kind of. Yeah. And
I got him down to about half health, and I was like, right, I'm not gonna actually kill you, because if I kill you in the lava and not on the Bloodstone, I don't know if I'll win, and will trigger the end of the mission. So let's just let you stroll on back.
Did you go to the trouble of killing him on the Bloodstone?
Yeah. I roleplayed that one hard.
Well, so I was wondering about it, because I was like, most of this fight is taking place on the ground beside the Bloodstone. Mm-hmm, what happens if I just kill him, right? It turns out it's fine if you just kill him.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
Yeah, he'll show up as on the center of the Bloodstone when the cutscene starts. Is this fight with the Lich difficult?
No.
No, it's absurdly easy.
It's really easy. For a guy who's been, like, he's level 30, right? And you think he's going to be all-powerful, because he was Vizier Kilbron, all-powerful advisor to the last King of Or, blew up the island and all the things.
He has the Scepter of Or, like one of the most
Scepter of Or,
legendary, yeah.
And he was a joke.
Yeah, and because his auto attacks do like 120 damage to me, but he doesn't do it that much. Like, no. I'm looking at my party's health bars, and there's no pressure going out from him.
No.
He attacks occasionally. He spends more time teleporting himself away than actually, like, fighting you.
Yeah. That's why I thought his AI was kind of bugged, and I'm like, surely this didn't work this way before. I feel like he stayed more put on the Bloodstone the last times I went through here.
Once you get him under half, he starts teleporting like every 5 seconds. Like he'll come back, and like seconds after he's gotten back to shore to fight you, he teleports again.
He's such a weirdo.
It's super obnoxious. I do have memories from like 2006 of doing this with players and like failing, like dying against the Lich.
Wow.
Yeah, I have memories of this like actually being hard. I don't know if they've made tweaks to this fight or not since then, but we're in here with like henchmen and it's super easy.
Yeah.
I would say the difficulty in this mission is the first half. If you can get past the first half, you're good.
Yeah, you're good.
And if you can get past Rurik, not that Rurik is hard, but he has Sparks of the Titans with him, and that makes him hard.
But Lich, I wrote down easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Literally wrote that in my notes.
Yeah, then it really is that easy. Like, I came out of it like, well, it was a little anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I killed him on the ground next to the Bloodstone, and the cutscene transports him on the Bloodstone. I seem to have a memory of him having a double phase, like you kill him and then his health refills, but I guess not.
Yeah. I remember that as well. So I think maybe there has been a change to this mission.
I'm wondering because I was sure that I had to kill him again after killing him once, but I didn't. I don't know. I guess I could have looked up the history of the edits to the fight, but I didn't because I'm a bad podcaster. After you do kill him, there is another cutscene.
There is another cutscene, and this time it's Glint who shows up. She just kind of materializes, and it's just her head. And she basically tells us...
She calls us on the Flu network.
She does. That's really good. And she basically says, hey now, you need to... good job, and also you need to go quickly because the volcano is about to explode or erupt. And if you don't want to be trapped here like your buddies, then you need to go now.
I found it...
Conveniently, there's a ship over here by the Mersat stronghold. Just run, take the ship, and you'll be good.
Yeah, I thought it was funny that she's like, the volcano is about to explode. Let me talk to you for 2 more solid minutes instead of getting the fuck out of here. Like, she tells you that you need to get out very fast and then proceeds to continue talking for like a full minute.
Yeah, pretty much. Yes.
I guess that's that. I guess it's that dock at the Onyx Gate that we saved Leah at that we go to get the boat.
That is exactly where it is. Okay. So it's the dock by from the Abaddon's Mouth mission, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, so she's and I thought, okay, oh my gosh, we're gonna have to run now, and it'll be like a timed thing. No, it all happens in a cutscene. Your character and your party just run, and you just get to watch it. Like a good old cinematic.
Which, if they're not going to show any gameplay urgency behind that threat of the volcano exploding, why even put it in there at all?
Yeah, it was weird. But yeah, it would have been nice if we'd had to like actually run and have a timer. I mean, they did it to us when we had to like go and scout the char were coming for the wall.
Yeah, there's been a few instances. That main one in the Great Northern Wall mission is the one that I can think of where we have an escape timer. Yeah.
They could have done it here, and they didn't.
And there is a scene in the cutscene. It shows the Scepter of Ore on the ground where the Lich has died on the Bloodstone, and it
disappears.
It disappears. Yes.
Yeah.
It fades into the ether. And we didn't think to like pick it up and be like, we should probably take this with us.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, are you really just gonna leave that there? Oh, you were gonna leave it there. Okay.
Well, because things have to happen in the future.
Well, yes.
Yeah. Yes. So, and that's where the mission comes to an end. We take a boat away and we spawn into Draknar's Forge, but not the city proper.
No, we spawn into the little afterglow area. And we have a little party.
And there's what people would you think would be present here? Like King Jalis, Avenia.
Jalis, Avenia, the gang.
Like maybe King Adelburn, maybe? And then like Devona and Aiden and stuff. The game puts like everyone.
Yeah, it was everyone. And one, I was not expecting Adelburn because I'm like, bro, you didn't want to leave your Ascalonian kingdom. Why are you here in the Shiver Peaks?
That actually doesn't check out at all. Yeah, that makes no sense why he would actually come here for this. Yeah, there's so many people from like random side quests that we've done.
Yeah.
Old Mac and his Devourer Joe are here.
Yes. They are there.
Yeah, War Master Titus is here.
War Master Titus is there. Duke Baradin is there.
Yeah.
Adelburn, and Adelburn is like, great. Maybe now you're done, you can come back to Ascalon and help me with the char.
That's basically what every single one of the Ascalonian representatives says. Is, hey, now that this is done, come back.
Yeah, but Adelburn calls it, now that you're finished with this nonsense. And I was like, do you want to ask me how your son is? Because I just had to kill him again.
Yeah, no, nobody seems to want to talk about that.
Nobody cares at all about Rurik.
Yeah, Adelburn's an asshole, isn't he?
Yeah, kind of. Just a little bit.
Yeah. I just like how much of a payoff there is if you were a person that did do side quests, and how confused you're going to be if you did no side quests.
Yeah.
Because there's like First Watch Sergio is here. He's the Villainy of Galrath guy. There's a few other like Crichton and Shining Blade NPCs. Salma is here.
Salma is here, and Salma is someone that we didn't meet because we didn't do her side quest.
So she is present at the Temple of the Ages, but she just has a generic like, "Hello, what can I do for you?" Like,
right.
She doesn't actually have anything. You said that there's quests involving Salma that we missed.
Yeah, there was a quest called The Lost Princess, which you can pick up in Fisherman's Haven outpost, and I didn't unlock this outpost, and so I never picked up the side quest.
Yeah, the game does not take you anywhere near Fisherman's Haven. And we have done, like, we did a lot of extraneous exploring, but, like,
we did.
You would have to go way out of your way to get to Fisherman's Haven.
Yeah.
It is not somewhere the game encourages you to go.
Yeah, so if you didn't pick up, and if you didn't go out that way and you didn't pick up that quest, or you didn't talk to Salma in the Temple of Ages, when Avenia tells you, I'm going to dedicate my life now to making sure that Salma's the next Queen of Kryta, you're like, who?
Yes, and there's several NPCs that mention like that Salma is going to be the Queen of Kryta. And it's like the whole focus of all the Kryta representatives, and you're like, I missed this whole thing.
Yeah, Watchman Arid. I don't remember meeting this guy, so I'm pretty sure that he shows up in an outpost we didn't run into.
He might be a Fisherman's Haven guy, yeah.
Yeah, probably.
And then he's
the quest giver for that quest for the Lost Princess.
Oh, okay, gotcha. That makes sense. And I think he says he's going to become her personal bodyguard.
Yes, he does.
And
I would give my life for her and for Kryta. Well, great.
And there's a couple Shining Blade people, and you can talk to them, and they mentioned that someone named Bartholos is going to be taking over from Avenia, because Avenia is going to become a personal advisor to the Queen.
Yes. So, and did you talk to the same Shining Blade person who told you, I feel like Livia would have been the better leader?
They mention Livia, yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, who's Livia?
And that's part of one of the giveaways to the fact that this epilogue was added later. This epilogue, I think, was added around the time of War in Kryta going into the game. Yeah. So this was not always a thing, because the little weapon vendors weren't always a thing at the end of Prophecies. It used to be you just finish Hell's Precipice and it plopped you back in the mission outposts.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, this used to not be a thing at all until Eye of the North came out, and I don't think it was a thing until War in Kryta. Either that, or they just added NPCs as the Guild Wars Beyond content unfolded. Farrah Cappo is here.
Farrah Cappo, yes. Did you talk to her and Little Thom, or watch any of their interactions?
So there is so much dialogue happening in this instance that some of it shows up in the chat box and some of it does not.
Yeah.
Farrah Cappo and Little Thom's dialogue does not show up in the chat box.
No, and it is so funny.
Yeah, you can talk to them initially when they're standing in line, like congratulating you, and she's like, I got him. He's mine.
Yes.
And I don't remember what Little Thom says.
Little Thom is like, that woman is a pain in my backside. I don't know if I should kill her or marry her.
Yeah, and that's like, I actually didn't pick up on this at all, that there's supposed to be like a budding romance. I didn't get that at all from the quest that we did for her, but I guess it makes sense why she's so hell-bent on tracking him down.
Yeah.
And then you can catch them like having a heated lovers quarrel.
Tiff, yeah.
Yes.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, so they yell at each other a little bit. I missed most of that conversation because I was listening to Shadow talk to the henchmen about why certain henchmen got left behind.
Yes, which is really funny.
This is a very good conversation because it's super meta.
Yeah.
It's basically the devs addressing all the henchmen hate. Like, Mhenlo starts lecturing Alesia on how terrible she is at being a monk.
Yes. Yeah. I feel like
apparently,
you need to learn your awareness. We've got to work on your sense of awareness. And I'm
yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, it's literally the devs being like, yeah, Alesia's bad, isn't she?
Yeah.
And Alesia, like, basically says that she left to go become a high priestess of Dwayna, which I think the Church of Dwayna might be in serious trouble if that's
She's like,
the case.
maybe I should have pledged myself to Balthazar and become a warrior. Maybe then you wouldn't have left me behind.
Yeah, all the henchmen that got left behind mention it. Reyna said something that was very funny, and I don't have. It was like too long to write out. Did you talk to Reyna while she's standing in line?
She says, remember those times we were dying and I was the only one left standing, but I used my signet on Alesia instead of you, only to have her die while attempting to restore Lena's life? Yeah, good times. Good times. I laughed so hard.
Yeah, that's a really, really, really funny dialogue blurb. And Reyna was another one that got left behind.
Yeah.
Orion is kind of just like, yeah, I know Sin is like better than me, but like I'm here if you ever need me. I don't know.
Yeah.
He like kicks the dirt a little bit. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, really good. Like, and apparently Stefan and Lena are dating.
What?
Yeah, you didn't see this exchange between Stefan and Lena where
no.
she calls him darling and honey.
Oh no, I totally missed that.
Yeah. Stefan is saying that he got left behind because some dwarf got him drunk.
Yes.
And then Lena like chimes in and starts calling him honey. So I think Stefan and Lena are a thing.
Oh, okay. I thought she was just being like, oh, bless your heart.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I was getting romantic vibes from Stefan and Lena.
after the whole Farrah Cappo Little Thom thing, why not?
True. Yeah, exactly. We've got all sorts of romances tying up here at the end of Guild Wars Prophecies.
That's funny.
Yeah. Very good end instance. I thought it was super cool. We can talk to King Jalis, and he basically says, "You did us a good one, sir.
Yeah.
Good job. Here's a talisman. Go enjoy yourself. An actual good weapon."
Yes, we'll always be our allies. You'll always be our ally, basically, because of the good turn that we did helping him out.
Yeah, and he gives us this Deljamore talisman, and there's like 18 weapon vendors behind him, and you can go talk to him and get a green, here meaning unique, weapon with a full mod kit on them for like all the best weapon mods in the game.
Yeah.
What did you pick up? A bow?
Yeah, I picked up a bow.
So I considered being a degenerate and picking up a weapon that would be for my factions character that we're creating next.
Right.
But I decided that would be against the spirit of the playthrough, so I went ahead and grabbed a hammer.
Yeah.
So Aaron has earned his Deljamore hammer. It looks very cool. It's got plus 30 HP. It's got 20% armor penetration. It's got plus 15% damage. It's a nice little piece of kit. I take it the bow comes with the same upgrades.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are that set of mods. The plus 15% while health is above 50%. The 20% armor penetration. The health plus 30 are kind of known in the game as quote perfect mods. It's like the ideal setup that you want for most weapons.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've finally got a weapon that isn't dog shit on my character that is not going to see much more action, unfortunately.
I was going to say, are you going to keep Aaron around?
Yes, Aaron is staying. We want to do some bonus content for the Titan quests and hopefully Sorrow's Furnace and maybe Tomb of the Primeval Kings. Mm-hmm. Maybe we'll even go to Fisherman's Haven and check out Salma. So there's some content on the horizon for Aaron, but looking towards the future, we'll be creating new characters for factions and new characters for Nightfall. Because we want to explore those games from the ground up. Whereas if you come into those games with a character from another campaign, you come in like halfway through.
Yeah.
And it's not as deep of an experience, I don't think. Mm-hmm. So we've finished the game.
We have finished the campaign.
Thoughts, impressions. Is this a good game?
I enjoyed the story. Mm-hmm. And I think because we were so methodical and paying attention to the story and all of the different side quests, it made it feel like a pretty complete world. There were some things that I wished that they'd picked up, like why doesn't Rurik get remembered at the end? Like, not even a disdainful line from Adalbern about how ticked off he is at his son for...
Or War Master Titus or Duke Baradin could have mentioned him.
Yeah.
Right? Any of the henchmen who have been with us since Ascalon could have... Because we can assume they're Ascalonian, I think. Like Stefan, right. Reyna, Alesia. Yeah. Mhenlo is objectively Ascalonian, right? Any of them could have... should have had a nod to Rurik.
And none of them did.
Yeah.
Dagnar Stonepate, also in Thunderhead Keep, you know, here we go in to go and kill him, and there's no mention
of avenging Rurik or anything like that. Of avenging
Rurik, or no shit talk from Jalis, thrown his way about, you know, retaking the keep from him and the Stone Summit. So just that, the missed opportunities for some flavor text would have been nice to see. But I think overall I enjoyed the story.
Yeah, I like what you said about the side quests really serving the purpose of fleshing out the world and making it feel like a complete world. I totally agree. Especially Ascalon. Ascalon has so many side quests, and if you do them, you get such a more complete picture of the movement of the world and what's going on and how things fit together. Super, super good world building on the part of ArenaNet throughout the game. I found that, so when we got to Kryta, I kind of like mildly complained that the story takes a complete divergence and none of the stuff we do leading up to that point seems to really matter because the plot doesn't really connect. But I think it's really important to start with the Searing, right? Because that contextualizes everything that happens in the whole game. And then having to start with the Searing, they then have to somehow connect the player to the rest of the game. So I think once you've played through the whole thing, you understand how it all fits together and why it's necessary to start in Ascalon and merge to the plot of Kryta once you understand that the Searing was the catalyst for pretty much everything that happens in the whole game. So in retrospect, I think the narrative flow is actually very good. And did you have... so I wanted to talk favorites and least favorites. Did you have a favorite mission in the game?
A favorite mission in the game? I don't know that I had a favorite mission. They all had sort of high points. I will tell you that I did not remember how painfully the Ascension Trials missions were. I didn't remember how painful they were. And this time around, boy, oh howdy, did I remember. So I think that those are missions that will live in my memory just because they do make the process of ascension feel worthwhile, I guess. Because you actually have to work for it, or at least I felt like I had to work for it.
Yeah, I definitely had a least favorite and a favorite mission. They're both desert area missions. My favorite mission, definitely Dragon's Lair. I think it is very fun. I think it is very visually interesting. I think it has a cool concept. Yeah. And then it's got some good, like, beefy story reveals at the end. It's like everything you want in a mission. And you're finally rewarded with getting 8 people, so it feels like extra happy for that reason. So I immensely enjoyed Dragon's Lair, definitely my favorite mission in the game. And then I have Dunes of Despair listed as my least favorite mission in the game.
It was not a fun time.
A close runner-up to that for me would actually probably be Riverside Province. I hated that mission.
Yeah, you didn't enjoy that one. I didn't hate that one as much.
What an excruciating experience. So those are definitely 2 like low points in the game for me.
Yeah.
Favorite quest. Do you have a favorite and a least favorite quest?
I think even though I didn't do it, because you mentioned it so much, the Eldritch Sextant quest. It's just for sheer hilarity.
It's just a good meme. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I had Blood and Smoke, the Dark Oak Prophecy quest. That was my favorite quest. Yeah, that was a quest that I had no idea. Like, I didn't even know that existed. I'd never done it before, and it's a very fun rabbit hole to go down. Yeah,
I liked the Vani. I mean, we talked about it earlier. The Vani quest where you find out about how she's being controlled. That one was quite good. I thought that was an interesting addition to the story of the game and how these creatures are out there and they can just possess and create havoc that way.
Yeah, no, that was definitely a cool bit of flavor about just like the demons that exist in the world of Tyria. Very, very good stuff. I did like that quest, despite the corncob pipery.
Yeah.
For my least favorite quest, I did have the escort the prize-winning hog to the Ascalonian settlement. Not a good time. Fuck that quest.
Yeah.
I never want to do that ever again.
Yeah. Escort quests are the worst.
Yeah. Did you have a least favorite quest?
Probably the same one.
Yeah. No. Ever. I think that's like probably if you surveyed the player base, that one would be the majority choice for least favorite quest in the game. Did you have a favorite and least favorite character or NPC?
I think it's Sin for her just snarkiness. As before we can get her as a henchman, she doesn't care, and anytime we try to interact with her, she's just like whatever. She's very emo.
Yeah,
when 2005 emo.
She's like a teenager, yeah. Because even when you talk to her in the epilogue instance, she's like, "Yeah, we burned shit up, didn't we? Nice." Yeah. And that's it.
Yeah.
And then Orion actually mentions her directly when you talk to him. He's like, "Yeah, I know Sin is really good, but I'm almost as good."
Yeah. Did you talk to her at the end in the epilogue?
Yeah, she just had like a quick one sentence, like, I don't remember what she said, but it was very Sin.
We did some good burning together, didn't we?
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. It's literally just like, yeah, we fucked shit up, huh? Nice. Yeah. See you around.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go bully Mhenlo now.
Which is much more to the point. Like when you first get her as a henchman and you try to talk to her, she basically is a badass and thinks that she is the shit because apparently she's done some things. I'm not gonna lie, the stories you've heard about me are true. If you don't think I can take care of myself, just ask the Char Warband who tried to sack my home. Oh, what's that? They didn't live long enough to be asked? Guess that answers your question. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, I remember when I talked to Sin as a henchman for the first time at Thunderhead Keep. And I read that and I was just like, yeah, that sounds like Sin.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, I have Rornak Stone Sledge as my favorite character.
I wish that he had shown up in the epilogue.
He absolutely should have been in the epilogue. It's like a diss that he's not in the epilogue.
I kind of want to take that as the he probably got lost or captured on the way to the epilogue.
I would love to think that he has been captured by the Mursat and we just didn't find him and he is just sitting there in a cell on the ring fire.
hey guys, are you gonna come for me?
Yeah. Is anybody coming? Guys?
No.
Did we win?
Oh shit, the volcano's about to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
No,
pretty much.
Ronak's great. I like that meme
Yeah.
of him always being a captured party whenever a dwarven mission is a thing.
Yes. Such a bad scout.
Yeah, no, he's great. Did you have a least favorite, most hated NPC throughout the game experience?
Probably Alesia for the amount of times that she failed us.
That's a great pick. Alesia is a very good pick. I had Jaiju Tai as my pick.
I mean,
just because she's a
Jaiju
giant asshole.
She really is.
But Alesia did cause me more direct pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alesia is wretched.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that she gets a proper dressing down from Mhenlo on how bad she is at her whole job.
Yeah.
And she fights him on it. She's like an angsty teenager, kind of. She's got a little bit of sin going on.
Yes.
Because she, like, fights Mhenlo on it. She's like, I was not bad at my job.
Right.
I was doing my best. And then she, like, stalks off in a huff to become a high priestess of Dwayna, apparently.
Right. Poor Dwayna.
Yeah, and I did like that all the henchmen that got left behind, like, mention it directly to us. They're like, yeah you left me behind, bro.
I know, and I was just kind of like, you weren't even in the mission outpost for me to take you, or like to choose between you. You just weren't there.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what you want from me.
Mm-hmm. That's why I liked that Stefan was like, yeah, I got tricked and I was tricked into getting drunk and then I had to go fight some dudes.
Yeah, and then Orion is just like, hey, some of us left for personal reasons and we don't want to talk about it. Right. Yeah, Orion's, I think he's very bummed that Sin is better at magic than he is. Yeah. Because if you compare their skill bars, Sin is infinitely better than Orion. Mm-hmm. Orion has like Firestorm, like he's terrible. He needs to. Yeah. He needs to learn some new skills.
Yes. Or learn how to use them in the correct order. Did you talk to Claude, the guy who was perpetually benched on our teams?
I did, yeah. He mentioned that he didn't understand, like, he felt that the Lich couldn't possibly have been worshipping Grenth, but that didn't make sense because the Lich was undead. So, he's confused about the whole Lich thing, basically.
Yeah.
Because he's like, well, the Lich couldn't possibly have worked for Grenth, but then how could he have not been working for Grenth if he's commanding the undead? It doesn't make any sense. Everything I know is a necromancer. It's upside down.
Yeah. It's like, and that's why you never came on our teams.
Oh my god. Claude is definitely one of the worst. I think he wins the worst henchman award. Because Alesia, she's bad, but you gotta bring her. Claude, you don't have to bring, and he's bad, so you never would. So since he's been the least helpful individual to my team, I award Claude worst henchman.
Yeah.
But Alesia worst team member.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I think that's fair.
Did you have any final closing thoughts regarding Guild Wars Prophecies?
I thought overall I think it's a good story. I enjoyed our playthroughs. Even when it was, even when we were going through the Ascension trials and felt like I was beating my head against the wall on some of those, like the Dunes of Despair. It was good to get back into this game. And, see that there are still, it's not just us who's out there playing.
The number of times I would be in like an obscure mission and there'd just be like a level 13 person there, like queuing the mission.
Yeah.
People are playing through this. A lot of people play through it because you get rewards in Guild Wars 2 for filling out the Hollow Monuments. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people still buy this and play through it just for the Guild Wars 2 connection.
Yeah.
I think people even that are just picking up Guild Wars 2, they come back and they play through this one, just the story, just to like get the context and stuff. Because if you just like bang out the missions and the primary quests, it really doesn't take that long.
No.
I did actually want to, if you open your Steam and you go to your library, would you play this through Steam?
I did not know. I have.
So you don't know you don't know what your hourage is for the playthrough.
Oh no, I don't. What was yours?
Would you like to know my total playtime so far on my account?
Sure.
67.8 hours.
Hey, that's not too bad.
Yeah. So 67 hours will take 68 more or less will take you through all the missions, all the primary quests, and most of the secondary quests in Guild Wars Prophecies.
Yeah.
That's pretty good bang for your buck considering you can get the whole all 3 campaigns for $20.
Yeah.
And even less if they're on sale. So you'll get plenty of hourage out of these games if you pick them up even at full price.
Yeah, so there you go, guys.
Yeah.
If you haven't played through Prophecies and you're intrigued, having listened to us, check it out. Check it out for yourself. It's especially if you are a Guild Wars 2 player, it's a different kind of gameplay experience just because of the movement. There's no dodging involved in this game. And you can actually skill click. But it's much more chill.
As long as you're not trying to get ascended, yeah.
Yeah.
And we are going to be rolling new characters for factions, which is going to be the next official show episode. I do want to plan some live streams for post endgame content for Prophecies. We will tweet out when those are going to happen because we don't have it nailed down yet. But the next official episode of the show will be Factions Episode 1.
And I'll create that on our audio only. That will show up as season 3 of our podcasts.
Is it in seasons?
I have done that because I'm a nerd.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Season 3 of Tyria then, coming soon in the next 2 weeks.
Yes, of the Tyria Now channel. So
yes.
That's why.
Yeah, no, there's the subdivisions of our channel are like the subdivisions of Titans that spawn from each other's deaths.
That's right.
Very similar breakdown. I'm going to be playing an assassin in Factions. Miko is going to be playing a ritualist.
Yes, that'll be fun.
Yes, so look forward to that. And Miko, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on the social media at Inky Sticks, the social media platforms.
Just out there in the internet aether, you are Inky Sticks.
Inky Sticks, yep.
All right, guys, please follow Tyria then on our YouTube and on our Spotify and Apple Podcasts and on the Twitter.
Yes, our channels are Tyria Now.
Yes.
Because we like to confuse you.
Yes, follow Tyria Now on all that stuff so that you can get every episode as soon as it comes out and devour it. And then eagerly await the next one. If you ever
tell your friends.
Yes, and tell everybody about it that you think would like it. Word of mouth is a huge assistance to us. Retweet the tweets that you see because that helps the audience grow and it helps us get more discussions happening in the comments and on Twitter and all of that good stuff. If you have any questions for us, you can always tweet at us or you can leave a comment on one of the videos. Can you comment on Apple Podcasts or Spotify?
Yes.
Yeah, you can do that too. So check all those platforms out. Ask us any questions you want. And we will see everybody for the next episode where we'll be starting Factions in 2 weeks. We'll see you later, guys.
Bye.
Bite. Bite? Bye.
Bye.